Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. A special good afternoon to all the parents everywhere in the world, the mothers and fathers, who, as the French would say, engage in le don de vie, the gift of life. Well, the World 100 meters champion Christian Coleman has been provisionally suspended from competition for chalking up a third whereabouts offense in a 12-month period. If the ban is upheld by the Athletics Integrity Unit AIU, the 24-year-old will be sidelined for 2 years. But Coleman insists he's innocent, saying his treatment by the AIU is unjust. In a statement posted on his Twitter page, Coleman wrote, "Don't tell me I missed a test if you sneak up on my door without my knowledge. Knocked while I was Christmas shopping 5 minutes away at the mall. I have receipts and bank statements, and didn't even bother to call me or attempt to reach me. I have nothing to hide, but it's not possible to show that if I am not even given a chance to." Posted a lengthy statement on Twitter. Christian Coleman did. Well, joining us now to discuss the issue is track and field expert and senior writer at SportsMax.tv, Leighton Levy, the man who was born bald. Leighton, how are you? Welcome to the SportsMax Zone.
Hey, George, what's up? I was not born bald. I actually was born with a full head of hair.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way. Look at it this way. I didn't say you were born big.
That would be worse. I agree.
Talk about Christian Coleman now, because I tell you what, I know you, I'm sure you did. I was most interested in reading the Twitter reactions, the Twitter comments to him posting his statement. I call the critics on Twitter the Twitterati, Leighton, for good reason. And the Twitterati weren't very kind to Mr. Coleman at all.
No, and they shouldn't be. And of course, Di Green, an athlete, actually broke down his arguments and pretty much debunked all of them. It's a very interesting thread that if you have time, you should go on Twitter and read it. The thing with Christian Coleman, it comes off to me as if Christian Coleman feels that he's entitled to these, bits of malfeasance, if you can call him that, where he thinks that he's above the water code and the rules and regulations of the Athletics Integrity Unit. The first thing, just that comment that you read from him, the first thing is that the AIU is under no obligation to call him. The rules state that they should an athlete be called before they would risk giving the athlete an opportunity to compromise or to do something that would enable him to come away with a clean test if they are not clean. The actual wording is it says that it's the rules for testing makes it clear that phone calls to athletes are not required. The lack of any telephone conversation does not give an athlete a defense to the assertion of a missed test. Therefore, his argument right there is debunked. I'm not quite sure what the rules are under USADA, but for the Athletics Integrity Unit and the World Anti-Doping Agency, that's not an argument.
Let me ask you, how many, well, it may be difficult to pinpoint numbers. I'm giving you the best chance as possible to give me an answer for the sake of the discussion. Isn't it true, let me putting it in a leading way, isn't it true that the overwhelming majority of athletes, Leighton, do not commit whereabouts violations?
No, they don't. There are
Correct.
athletes right now who are maybe have one or two missed tests, but for the most part, athletes tend to be following with what is required with the whereabouts, with Article 2.4 of the whereabouts rule.
Has there ever been any athlete who, when they gave a window in which they would be available for testing, and the tester turned up and they weren't where they were supposed to be, and they said in defense after they were charged that, look, I was 5 minutes away, and that was accepted as an excuse given that they were so near to where they said they were supposed to be? Has that ever worked in any athlete's favor in the past as a defense?
Let me answer it this way. Brianna McNeil, the Olympic champion from 2012, was banned for a year before last. On her whereabouts, when she indicated where she was supposed to be, at one time she was actually at the White House, and another time she was actually on parade. Both have been verified because she was at the White House being honored by President Obama. The other time she was on an Olympic float, but she just forgot to update her information. She was banned for a year. So you see, the ultimate responsibility lies with the athletes. If you're going to not be somewhere, they ask you for an hour each day just to say where you will be. If Christian Coleman said that he was going to be at home for that hour, he needed to be at home. You don't go shopping. You know the hour that you put on your whereabouts information. You know exactly what that window of time is going to be. Why would you go shopping, as he claims?
Well, Leighton, he also spoke about the AIU processes having numerous glitches, and it's set up for the athletes to fail. What would you say on that note?
I don't know where he's coming off with those allegations, because look, the form is online, so you can actually access the form on your smartphone. So if in the event of something like an emergency, say you said you're going to be at home at between 4 and 5 p.m. and something came up, you can actually update the information in time and then notify them, and then they'll know that, okay, fine, you're not going to be available. So they'll probably schedule on, they'll probably see what the other date that you're going to be available at. And it's once you're able to verify that what you're claiming is legitimate, I don't think it's a problem. So, I don't get the argument that there are glitches or they're set up to trip up athletes. Look, the bulk of the world's athletes all have to fill out the forms. They all have to notify the athletes. You notice Usain Bolt never missed a violation. Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price, Allyson Felix, you name them, they have not run afoul of the whereabouts violation because they know how serious it is and the consequences that can come to bear.
If this mistest is confirmed, obviously he will miss the Tokyo Olympics. How damaging will this be for his career?
The credibility of his career will be affected, because remember, this is not the first time Christian Coleman has done this. Last year, just before the World Championships, he barely got away on a technicality. He had missed a test on June 6, 2018, January 16, 2019, and April 26, 2019. But under the international testing standards and investigations guidelines, those failures, the missed tests have to go back to the first day of the month of the testing quarter, which is a technicality under which he actually was able to escape sanction, because then it would have exceeded the 12 months that's set under the guidelines. So this is now another situation where he's run himself afoul of the guidelines once again. I don't see where he's gonna miss a 2-year ban this time, which means that he misses the Olympics, which means that his credibility takes a hit, which means that he misses out at least one opportunity to win an Olympic gold medal, which most likely would have given the talent that he possesses. The thing is, it puts us at a dark cloud over his career from this point on.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you very quickly about the Bahrainian world champion of the 400 meters, who is also in trouble based on similar anti-doping infraction. But I was going where you were just now with the fact that Coleman barely missed a ban last year because of that 3 whereabouts infraction, and he barely missed it. I'm getting the impression that he's treating the AIU with disdain.
Yeah, and I think he did an interview on Flow Track yesterday, and I don't think he understands the rules. I don't think he has a clear understanding of how the system works. He's mentioning that the sanction, he believes right now that his sanction is 2 years. He actually has to go through a hearing, and then they will determine whether or not he's been found guilty of a breach of the AIU regulations. The thing is, there's a process, and based on the interview that he did yesterday, I don't think he even understands the rules. So it's ignorance. There's a certain sense of disdain, as you put it, Lance, and a certain level of arrogance, feeling that because he's world champion, suddenly the world needs to bow to his will. It doesn't work like that, and which is why some of the best athletes in the world, they do their best to ensure that they stay within the rules.
Yeah, Nasser from Bahrain is also in trouble with a whereabouts infraction. Her pronouncements after that a little bit different from Christian Coleman's. But what's your take on her issue?
well, we don't know the details as the Coleman case, as we do the Coleman case, but her comments were shocking. Missing 3 tests is not a big deal. Missing 3 tests is a violation. It seems to me that a lot of these athletes, they don't spend enough time perusing and understanding the rules that govern their sport, especially when it comes to testing. Testing in track and field is a very important element because you need to be able to trust the results that you see. And what we saw from her last year, 48-14, virtually knocking almost a full second off her previous personal best, does raise eyebrows, but it could have been very well been legitimate. Thing is, now you get the feeling that it may not have been, which then clouds her reputation, clouds her performance, and of course clouds the sport.
Leighton, you know, I want to just jump back to Coleman because you said something about the taint of suspicion on his career from here on in if, as we expect, he gets banned. Tell us, for the benefit of the viewers, Leighton, what implications is a ban like this? Because you can be banned for various reasons. You could be banned for fighting in a restaurant because your coffee wasn't good enough and you're upset with the server. That's a different thing. But a ban like this for a whereabouts violation tied to anti-doping, what does it do for the endorsement contracts that you sign and the other agreements that you have with sponsors and the like?
Well, I think a lot of that will have to, will be determined based on what information comes out at the hearing, which usually for the United States is a confidential circumstance. It's not made public like we used to do it here in Jamaica. However, I'm sure that potential sponsors, of course, he has a deal now that pays him about $1.5 million a year, I'm told. I'm sure sponsors Nike will probably not look upon this quite nicely. They'll frown upon this, given that he went and created a great spectacle in Doha last year. Of course, as you know, he's the NCAA champion from the year before. You know, they'll be looking to build on his successes going forward, especially since he's an American in a huge American market. This now puts a taint on him and could actually affect his ability to attract additional sponsors.
But Leighton, more to the point, in your experience, do the clauses that are inserted into these endorsement contracts would say then, if you get banned for any doping-related offense or missing doping tests, payments to you cease immediately upon that ban being applied?
I'm not sure if it goes to that extreme, but what I do know, it does create problems in terms of renegotiation. When that term runs out, then, you know, he goes to the table wounded. He won't go from a position of strength because then he has this hanging over his head. So it could affect him in that way. And it also could affect potential sponsors of coming on board with him, given that his reputation is now under question, given this cloud hanging over his head.
A man or woman's reputation is their greatest asset. Yeah. Leighton Levy, thank you for speaking with us. And yeah, you weren't born big at all. Maybe you were born bald, I'm just saying, but you weren't born big, all right?
One of these days, I'm going to bring a picture with me with here. I'm going to shock you all.
All right, sir. Leighton Levy there. We take a break. Back with more on the SportsMax Zone.